everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to the Pixie Palace. And today I have something a little bit different. I've been trying to push myself out of my comfort zone even as long as I've been doing videos on this channel. And I decided to touch on something that I don't normally talk about. This was done about a little over a month ago when I slowly started coming back to the channel full time. And as I had mentioned in past footage, I actually went through a rough time with anxiety, situational anxiety, and mild depression. And even though my days have been really good lately, I still deal with it from time to time. In this particular case, it was partly due to the cancellation of the trip I went through and the relationship that I have. Now, good news, everything is great with the relationship. Things are just really at a good place. So there's no need to worry, even when I'm talking about not knowing where the relationship is going, everything is just fine. However, all relationships go through their ups and downs no matter how good it is. And I consider ours to be really good. This particular perspective I was going through, I was really doing a lot of inner work as well. And it really made me realize some things and made me really look further into myself to see why I was triggered so much as I was, aside from me really caring about this person. But it was to the point where I really knew I needed to do that deeper work to get to the root of the problem. And it's amazing how, looking in hindsight, how my energy has shifted for the better since then. It almost seems like another lifetime ago since I felt these feelings. And I wanted to share this with you, even though it is a very private subject for me. I don't normally talk about this. And I just felt that maybe it would help somebody out there, just to let them know they're not alone. The feelings like this are very normal, and how to actually be proactive in it. I started off kind of a little bit on a tangent about ghosting, but then I start talking about more of the deeper topics. And it's going to be in a couple parts because this video will be way too long if I put it all in one chunk. But I really hope you get value from it. And let me know if you identify with any of this or if you're going through something similar. You don't have to give all the details, but just kind of let me know where you're at. Because no matter what, all of us have experienced some type of relationship in one way or another, whether it's romantic, family, friend, or other. And I feel the more we learn about these connections and how to keep the love alive and keep cultivating positive, uplifting experiences, the better we'll be. Now, if you're in a toxic relationship, even narcissistic, something that doesn't serve you, some of these things will not apply. Only you yourself know if you're in a healthy relationship. And that's where you tap into your heart space and really trust your intuition. So yeah, I really hope you enjoy it. Remember, I'm not a relationship expert, nor will I ever claim to be. This is just me sharing my own experiences, my own views, and hoping that it'll give you a little bit of comfort and maybe a little bit of perspective on your own situation or future situations. So without further ado, let's get into it. Part 1. Hit the music. Have you ever been ghosted? Yeah. Raise your hands if you have. I definitely have very recently. And it's a really fun feeling. It makes you feel good about yourself. It makes you know where everything's at. And it really does not rock your world at all. And you know what? I'm not talking about the ghosts for Halloween. I'm talking about ghosting, disappearing from someone's life just because you're afraid to face facts.
Why didn't you call me back?
And I'm not saying all the ghosting is malicious. Sometimes people do it because they don't want to hurt the other person's feelings, or they are afraid to say, hey, let's take a break, or I don't think this is working anymore. And it is not easy to do that. I'm not good with that stuff either, I'll be honest. But when you ghost someone, it really makes things worse.
Erase. Erase. Erase.
It actually makes that person feel very, very unsettled. They may not understand why they're being ghosted. They may not understand what they did, if they did anything to warrant that. And it really erases a future that they thought they were building with this person. So if you decide to ghost somebody, ask yourself these two questions. Number one, if you were in that person's shoes that you're about to ghost, how would you feel if they ghosted you? Would it make you feel sad? Would it make you feel angry? Would it make you feel like crap? Number two, is there another way that you can address this issue instead of disappearing off the face of the earth? Is there a way maybe you can sit them down and talk to them? Maybe if you, for example, you don't have a whole lot of time to chat every day, especially like in a long distance relationship, schedule something with them. Schedule a time that you both can call each other or video chat and make that appointment with each other. Even if it's once a week, but make it consistent, make it where you prioritize that among your other priorities and make that an important part of your life. If that person and connection means something to you, you will make that effort. Even put it on your calendars. Sometimes I forget stuff. And I know my significant other, he can be forgetful too, because we each have so much going on in our lives. And so sometimes scheduling it on our calendar, and it may sound funny, it may actually sound very unsexy, but actually it is a beautiful thing to do because you are prioritizing each other over other things. And when you meet for that time to communicate, whether it's on phone or in person, only focus on each other. If you want to watch YouTube videos, he and I would do that. Yes, that's different. Have fun, do an activity together, but focus on each other. Don't go working on other stuff while you're doing that. Focus on each other and make each other a priority. When you show lack of communication, whether it's a little or a lot, it's signaling to that other person that they don't matter, that you don't feel close to them like they may to you, or that they're not on your mind at all. And long distance relationships are really, really weird. In my life, it may be a different schedule. In his life, it's a different schedule as well. Yeah, he's taking classes. I'm doing content creation, working on my business, and doing Zoom calls sometimes. Sometimes he has his farming. He has all these other different activities he has to do. And it's really, really interesting because it can be really, really a conundrum on how to schedule certain things. But if you can't schedule something right away, then shoot each other a text every day, or an email, whatever's easier. Text is real quick and easy. All you have to say is good morning, hope you're doing well, love you if you're saying that, or send each other a funny GIF or something. Oh, this reminded me of you. And or even say a good night text, something that keeps you connected. Because if you don't cultivate that relationship, you're going to grow apart, and the relationship will be less likely to succeed. Right now, we're going through a hiatus, and I don't blame him. I don't blame myself, but I have been going through a very depressive state. And right now, I'm picking myself out of that. I allow myself to process these feelings. I do feel abandoned to a point because communication was not that great at the end, and hence why our trip was postponed. And he may be moving. He has other things in his life that he has to pay attention to, which is fine in itself. Sometimes life gets in the way. But the communication was not there. So to me, that's signaling me that I don't matter to him enough to keep this relationship going. Right now, I have no idea whether we are on or not. And while we made no promises to each other, the time we spent together warrants some type of communication, whether it's to pick up later on or to put a closure on it. So right now I'm really dealing with a lot of feelings, a lot of yucky stuff nobody likes to go through when you don't know where your relationship is going. But the only advice I can give if you're going through a similar thing is don't wait around. Yes, feel your feelings, process, because Lord knows I had to journal a lot. I had to cry. Even though as unreasonable as it may be, but it's what I needed to do to clear that crap out of my system. I had to binge watch TV just to get my mind off things. I also wasn't feeling inspired. I was feeling no creativity at all. I do what I had to do, and that was it. Hence why I haven't come back sooner with these videos. And it really made me take a look at myself and figure out why I was feeling such a deep, anxious depression. And while I deal with situational anxiety quite a bit, it doesn't usually hit me as hard as it has this time around. And I'm not blaming him for that. And that's just my stuff. But it's one of those things, it could have helped having that communication intact. I do hope that things do work out, but it's also important that you continue with your own life, with your own interests. Even if your relationship is on hiatus and you don't know where it's going, usually the universe will work it out one way or another. And it's really important that you work on yourself, do what brings you joy, get out in nature if you can, maybe take a walk every day, get some sunlight. That's proven to really help with anxiety and those type of disorders. Also, don't dwell on what you don't have. Focus on what you do have. Because when you focus on what you do have and you do practice gratitude, regardless of what situation you're going through, that will attract more of the same. It will actually rewire your brain to think a little more positively. Now, I'm not going to say you're not going to feel moments of pain. At night is harder for me. It's harder for me to switch off that feeling. But when you have people who support you, someone to talk to, or you have a journal to write in, or you have some meditation that will help, and you remember that the relationship itself does not define you. And that is part 1 in the books of Seeking Your Truth in a Relationship. The second part will be aired next week. And the second part will dive deeper into what I learned about myself going through this experience and how I came out of it better than I was before. I hope you enjoyed this, and hit the notification bell, click like and subscribe so you don't miss out on next week. Until the next time, to know yourself is to know your truth. Namaste.